Hello, I am Dr. Lisa Wiedemann. I've been an optometric physician for over 33 years and carnivore for over 15 years. So I am here to just relay my experience and help as many as I can who attempt to transition into this way of eating and want to learn all the different aspects of different parts of how we overcome our potential addiction to sugar, carbs, processed foods. And I also have a passion to join people together, like-minded people who have similar health goals. And, oh, you know what? Hang on a second. I messed up here. Let me see if I can pull up my slides. Okay, here we go. So I love to gather people together because it's really empowering. And one of the main reasons is that I find it is so difficult to walk your own walk sometimes. I know a lot of you have been in this long enough and are just like, you know what, I don't care what anybody else thinks. And that's really where I'm at. But there is something about not feeling like you're part of the group, or people are rolling their eyes at you, or people just steadfast don't agree that you could possibly think you're not going to get heart disease by eating all this red meat. And I could go on, but I just hope that I can give people the ammunition to be strong, hold strong, talk the talk and walk the walk. And therein lies my passion to gather people together. And I host meetups. And if any of you have been out here to my Northeast meetup, it's pretty fabulous. And it's this September 7th is this year's meetup. I have Dr. Kiltz joining me again. I have a regenerative rancher coming down from Rhode Island with an amazing chef and lots of meat. And I think we're doing bacon wrapped scallops also, and fried eggs on burgers. He brings the most amazing ground beef down too. So that's, and then Fred Hahn, who's a strength training expert. He's joined the past couple years. He's coming again. So I just, again, like to host meetups, and wherever I travel, wherever I go, I announce where I'll be and hope to gather a lot to come and join and just share your experience, talk about where you're at and listen to others of where they want to go. And it's empowering and magical. So let me pull onto the screen. The next thing is that, yes, I am for the first time hosting a carnivore cruise. And for those of you who follow me over on Instagram, you probably know about this because I made this post here. Who's coming to make some vitamin D with me, Carnivore Cruise. And I'm calling it Carb Sober Carnivore Cruise. And it's just going to be a place where you can come, and we're going there. They're setting aside in the main dining room tables of 10. And I don't know whether I'll have 10, 20, or 30 who decide to jump on this ship with me, but I have a few things in store. So before I get to, oh, hi, Darcy. Hi, Joanne. Thanks for joining in. And Joanne already has her ticket for the Northeast meetup. I'll put the link for that. It's in New Jersey. I'll put the link for that in the notes also. And I put a link in there to get information for this upcoming cruise, because I've had a lot of people reaching out saying they would love to come on this cruise. So let me, oh, hi, Cindy. Let me see. Let me just go over a couple different things. Here I wrote, anyone else crave the sun and the warmth of sandy beaches in the middle of winter? I know some of you who live in Florida don't give a hoot about escaping to someplace warm. But those of us who are up here in the Northeast or Canada or the Midwest, Chicago, I'm sure there's a lot of us who want to escape the cold weather in the winter, but that was part of my incentive to do this, is to gather people in onto a ship, and it's going to be on Royal Caribbean Adventure of the Seas. This is the information I have so far. Jump on the ship for an amazing carb sober cruise vacation. Meet lots of like-minded, newfound meaty friends. February 1 to 7. And yeah, I mean, how many times have you gone on vacation and gone off the rails and then come home and find it very difficult to get back on track? And how amazing will it be to be away on a trip and decide for yourself that the food that goes in your mouth, it's leading to health and not harm. And I know there's huge amounts of dessert buffets, but with strength in numbers, not our food. And we're going to get plenty of extra meat, extra seafood. I will make sure that our bacon is not deep fried. I will do my best to talk to the head of the food operations and explain our dietary needs and just be able to have as much meat as we want, and seafood and eggs and bacon, and as best as possible with no seed oils. And we'll see how it goes. The other thing that I'm doing here, let me just go through a couple more. And everybody's welcome. Keto, ketovorish, carnivore, animal-based, plus all the non-beefy, carb-happy, salad and bread eating family and friends, because we don't exclude anybody. And if nothing else, it might be awesome for those of you who have a partner who you've had a difficult time bringing on board to eat healthier, to be surrounded with others who all consider this normal, and this is normal for us to eat this way. So if anything, it'll be really beneficial. And yeah, everybody is welcome. So I've designed these wristbands that are going to be this bright turquoise color that I will have made and give out at the first meeting that we have on the ship, and ask that you wear it. And anywhere you are, if you're at the pool, if you're at a music venue, if you're at the buffet and you see somebody with the band, it's, they're our tribe, and just strike up conversation and join in. I feel like there's going to be a friend everywhere on the ship. If you're on an excursion at the beach, or whatever we decide to do, I'm going to have a little bit of an itinerary and just say, I love going up on that sport deck way up top, and they have that track, that outdoor track up on the top deck. And so I'll have an early morning sun, not actually at sunrise, but it might be 7 a.m. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to have a deciding factor about timing on that. But I have formed two different WhatsApp chat private groups. One is for anybody out there who would love to come on the cruise but is solo. They always get you on the cruises. The cabins are based on double occupancy. So I've made a WhatsApp chat group for roommate finders, to cruise roommate finder chat group. And you jump in there, and yeah, it's tight quarters and it's somebody else, and people are going to say that's weird, but heck, I would do it. I'm very easy about meeting new people, but I just figured at least give you an avenue to come on and have a roommate, or try to find yourself somebody who from one of your groups, if you're in a group in this community, and they don't, or you pay. It's actually really reasonable, and to pay double to have your cabin to yourself actually isn't that ridiculous. So there's that too. I have the price of an inside cabin is less than 100, or it's about $100 a day. And that includes your food and your cruise. So I thought that was really, really reasonable. But of course, that's based on double occupancy. So I didn't actually, this will be a laid back and relaxing cruise where we'll gather at meal times, pool and beach times, and maybe join into excursions together. I'll do lots of Q&As wherever I am with whoever I'm with. And this is not a formal speaker type event. We will be out sunning on the deck and not sitting in conference rooms for this one. So if that's what you're after, you'll need to look elsewhere. I'll schedule a meeting room for the first day at sea for us to meet and for everyone to get some information and for me to hand out these cool Carb Sober. It'll be a good reminder at every meal for yourself too. Stay on track and you'll feel so awesome. You'll feel so good and you'll get home without adding 5 pounds to your body weight just by staying on track. So the wristbands are so we can ID each other on the ship if you choose. And when you're out and about and easily gather to enjoy time. And if wanted, I will get actually, I've already arranged to get a meeting room on a second sea day. And I'll do either a presentation or a vision and ocular health Q&A or just anything that you want to pick my brain about or talk about. And this is an opportunity to be on vacation with me and lots of other carnivores, to eat lots of meat and have a lot of conversations and connections. An opportunity to stay carb sober on vacation and enjoy a trip where there will be lots of butter, but no bread on the dinner table. So yeah, I'm really excited about it just because I really love being out in the sun. And I think it's really, really important. And I made a graphic that I'm making onto tanks and t-shirts for the cruise: Eat Meat, Beach Repeat, Carb Sober Cruise. And I think I have a couple other graphics I started playing around with. Well, so you've seen this one that I've worn. I have this hoodie. Let me make that bigger. There we go. And let me go to, I have this one too. I love Carb Sober Meat Addict and the Lift Weights, Eat Steaks. And let me see if I have another in here. Oh yes, of course, my Suck It Up Buttercup. Got to have that one, right? So I'm going to have these up hopefully by the time the cruise final information gets released. And this is for those who like it on a black t-shirt or black tank. And I'm just playing around with it because this is, as you know, one of my favorite sayings, because it just kind of really says it all. Like, change is hard. Change is really hard, and doing hard things is just so not easy. And people say, how do you do it? I keep trying and I keep falling in the ditch, and I'm not so sure I can give up my gum. And is that derailing me? And yeah, it is. That's just your constant hit of sugar or your, protein powder flavored stevia thing in your electrolytes. This kind of stuff is really hard to give up. But if you want to make progress and you want to get to optimal health, suck it up, Buttercup, and just dig in and do it. So, all right, I am going to come over into the chat. Susie says you're going. Susie QGM 64. Awesome. I can't wait to meet you. If I haven't met you already, sometimes I've met so many people in the 15 years I've done carnivore. I think I'm up to 30 meetups that I've hosted now. So, oh, hi, Cordelia. Oh boy, let's see what Adam says. Good ship. I'm a Diamond Plus on Royal Caribbean, and for the life of me, don't understand why they don't offer sugar-free cheesecake, easiest to make. Yeah, well, so Adam, if you know anything about my tactics in coaching and my recommendations, I should say, is that when you are just using these quote unquote sugar-free things, of course, they're artificially sweetened with artificial sweeteners, even stevia and monk fruit and allulose and erythritol, anything that hits the sweet sensors on your tongue. My saying is you're just changing seats on the Titanic there. And if you're making things that are mimicking things that you used to binge on, it makes it very difficult to make progress. But I don't talk for everybody. You could be one who just easily moderates and just wants to have that every once in a while. But if I made sugar-free cheesecake, I would have to fight off listening to it call my name for the entire time until there was none left. So that's my experience. So I know I'm very slanted in what I say and how I coach and how I present my really my outlook on things. I try to keep very open-minded though, but I am pretty steadfast on my experience and expressing to you all how difficult it is. And I've been coaching now for 15 years for people to overcome their disordered relationship with food if they're going to keep using food for entertainment, using food to fill emotional voids, using food to console yourself, using food to numb yourself. You know, like when you used to go sit on the couch in front of the TV with a bag of chips, right? So this is the difficult things that we have to really think about. All right, let me keep going through, try to get to some more questions. Let me just pull over and see if Monica says, thank you. Those blister clusters on my lower eyelid by the tear duct are resolved thanks to your advice with the warm packs and rolling massage. Awesome. And back to the PhD, which of course we know from Dr. Berry, that's the proper human diet. And I can tell you for sure, absolutely for sure, I have had firsthand experience with the inflammatory effects of sugar, seed oils, processed foods, grains, causing eyelid disease, which is meibomian gland disease, blepharitis, meibomianitis, there's all these little variances in the terms, but basically it's eyelid margin disease, and it can lead to irritated red tearing eyes. It can lead to recurrent styes, which are called chalazion, and all of it. We have about 40 glands that run in the upper and the lower lids, and they get mucked up, thick and sebum. It does not flowing nice like consistency of olive oil like it should. It gets very mucky and it clogs itself and it causes problems. So it's so important. And Monica, just as an ongoing bit of advice for you, go ahead and at least like every other night or minimum a couple times a week, just hold that warm compress on your eyes at night when you're getting ready for bed. It really feels good anyway. It's not like it's an annoying chore, right? But it's really helpful for ongoing preventative maintenance. Okay, so is there a link for Meetup and the cruise? Yeah, you know what? Let me just go and put up here here I wrote, click link in the description to get on my email list to get the info to join me on the cruise and any other upcoming meetups. So, and the reason why I say this and the way I'm doing it this way is I am working very diligently still with our own personal cruise coordinator who I have in charge of this group cruise. And he is just working really diligently, and I should have the answer by tomorrow to pull some more cabin categories. I don't really know that much about cruising. I know there's all sorts of, I don't know what they label them, letters or something, but midship is a little bit more expensive than fore and aft because I guess it's a little bit of a smoother ride. I don't know. I've gone on maybe about, maybe 7 or 8 cruises in the past 15 years. And I never really paid attention, but I also don't seem to get seasick at all on a cruise ship. So I haven't had any issues. Okay, let me keep going. All right, why am I stuck in here? Okay, let me go up higher. Okay, here we have one. Dana says dry eyes that constantly tear. Yeah, so there's different types of dry eye, but when your tear film that is there to stay across your cornea, that clear window, right, that's vaulted over the pupil and the iris, when that evaporates too quickly because of poor quality tears, it starts to evaporate. It leaves a bare spot, which then starts to trigger the eye to start tearing. And it's still producing, let's say, not optimal tear quality, still tears that are evaporating, and it's a vicious cycle that you are tearing more to compensate for that evaporating tear film. So it seems opposite. It's like you come in and you have very wet tearing eyes, and then me or your eye doctor says, well, you have dry eye. And that's like, haha, that's funny. Why would you tell me I have dry eye? My eyes are tearing all the time. Well, it's because the quality of the tear is not good. And it's not good typically because these meibomian glands that are in charge of secreting that oil that makes the outermost layer of your tear film. There's 3 layers: a mucin layer, an aqueous layer, and an oil layer. And if any of those are not functioning properly, the tear is not keeping your eye wet in between when we have to hold them open, obviously, to see. So, yeah, so I guess the question is, my dry eyes that are constantly tearing, what the heck do I do? You stay consistent and steady with an optimal diet, and that means eliminating sugars, grains, processed foods, seed oils, even nuts are high in linoleic acid. I mean, this is so it's so complicated to discuss in just a few sentences, but if you've followed me or you continue to follow me, you'll start understanding that really meat, eggs, water, and seafood, that's where we're at with a really, really healthy diet. So, and that will heal your eyes. I have had so many people who have had their dry eyes heal, their blepharitis and meibomitis all heal. For many of them, it took also giving up caffeine and coffee. It's not a health drink, guys. Water, water, water. That's what we're meant to drink. So we're not meant to be addicted to a pesticide like caffeine. And so, all right, let me keep going. I'm glad to hear that I've not been on Adventure of the Seas. I've been on Royal Caribbean a few times, but I'm certainly not a Diamond Plus member. I guess you get all sorts of perks. Okay, Patty asks, what port is the cruise leaving from? It is leaving from Port Canaveral near Orlando in Florida. And I will be hosting, of course, the night before the cruise leaves, since most seasoned cruisers know to get to the area the day before to alleviate any complicating issues with flight cancellations. So the evening before, I'm going to host a meetup. It'll be for all area um, carnivore, ketovore people, plus, of course, any incoming cruisers to start our trip early. But I will pick some sort of great meaty barbecue restaurant and we will meet up the night before too. Oh, okay. Susie, see, it's always interesting. I don't, people even on Instagram, people have crazy names, and then I don't even know. Sometimes you're in my group, and I don't even know it because I don't know your crazy Instagram name. But yeah, so I'm so happy that I've had quite a few people reach out because I announced this, I guess, last week on Instagram, and I started talking about it probably a little prematurely just because I need to iron out this last detail, which they assured me it would be ironed out by the end of today. So I'm hoping tomorrow. And then the email will go out and it will have it's already written. I'm waiting to hit the send button. I'm like chomping at the bit because I can't wait. But it will have the information of exactly how to um, book the cruise. It has information, it has the itinerary, everything. So, okay. And Deborah Jones Bean says, I'm behind, but I for sure am interested in the cruise. Yeah. And I thought, what awesome type. I mean, I came down to thinking an all-inclusive or a cruise, which tend to be the best for, let's say, a larger group, because if we just go to a location and or a resort and it's not all inclusive, how am I possible? Let's say 50 people want to come. How am I possibly going to get us all to be able to eat meals together? It just becomes logistically really tough. Whereas, the cruises and the all inclusives, they to some extent cater to family reunions, large groups. And yeah, the cruise line seems more than happy to uh, go out of their way to make sure we have our group sitting together. And like I said, if you don't want to go to the main dining room, I put myself in for the early. I guess they have early and late seating on this cruise line. I know some cruise lines have anytime dining and they don't have seatings, but this one does. And I'm kind of glad because I'm in the early. And so if you want to dine with me and probably the majority of people, because we tend to like eating earlier and not close to bedtime, they are going to maybe set off an entire room depending on how many people join in. So it will be really a great way to meet others and talk and enjoy time together with people who get it. Okay, let's see. Renee says, my A1C just came back 5.9. I'm carnivore except for diet soda. Could that be keeping it elevated? Well, you'll hear all sorts of different information about this, but I'm going to tell you that our bodies are really intricate machines. And when you put chemicals, which is what diet soda is. Just think about it. It's a company who's put a bunch of chemicals together to make something addictive and taste good for you to spend your money to pad their wallet. Um, how do you like that rendition of it? But it hits the sweet sensors, and your body needs to go into action to take care of something sweet coming down the pipe. Um, so suck it up, buttercup. I know diet soda is a real tough one for so many people, but water is just so beautiful. It's so great. Give it a little squeeze of lemon or tiny bit of apple cider vinegar, or do something if but actually one of the best things, and I'm sure people will chime in here, is just plain seltzer. At least you get the bubble and the burn that you would miss when you give up the soda, but it's typically the sweet is what you're really driven. And believe me, I was so hooked on, oh boy, Fresca, Diet Coke, and Diet Dr. Pepper. Those were my go-tos. This was all through college because, of course, try to lose weight. I'm not going to drink a sugary soda. That's not good for me. So, yeah, this was way before I knew better. And yeah, but it's so interesting because so many people will say once you stop it, when you go back and take a sip of it, it actually is repulsive. It's like tastes very chemically and it's very interesting. But your body craves and wants water to heal. And when you're putting anything in it other than that, it has to deal with the chemicals. So get rid of it. Out it goes. Have you seen Fuchs dystrophy resolving on a carnivore diet? So I don't personally have patients who have had Fuchs dystrophy that because you have to remember this is something that a lot of people don't think about, but as an eye doctor, there's a standard of care and a standard protocol. And for me to start telling some patient who has Fuchs dystrophy to try this wacky meat eating thing, you can't picture the person's going to go home and clean out their cupboards, their fridge, and their freezer and take this on. So there's that. But what I do have the advantage of is I have people who do report to me and who are carnivore for another reason. It wasn't that their eye doctor told them to, but that it's healed glaucoma, even retinitis pigmentosa. I'm going to have Sean on. He's a gentleman who has had an improvement in his vision. But I think the bottom line is if you hear these thousands and thousands of stories of people writing about so many different things that are healing, anxiety, depression, skin conditions, gut issues, joint issues, autoimmune issues, we could go on, and even people who are reversing their glaucoma and their dry eye and their blepharitis. I don't think there's one entity, one disease that your body's going to go, well, no, we're going to side table that one. That one's not in the books here. There might be situations with scarring issues with severe end stage macular degeneration that I'm going to say that's probably too little too late, but just have hope and stick with it. And hopefully you're on the carnivore diet for other reasons too, and having a lot of other benefits. And this one will hopefully be just an additional one. Okay, let's pull over a couple more here. Adam says, I'm with you, but being a recovering and lifetime sugar addict, I still allow a piece of very dark chocolate, 95% Lindt, not daily, but occasionally. All right, well, so from that comment, it sounds like you're able to moderate it. And if that's the case, and you're off all medications, you have no diagnosis, you're at a nice, lean, metabolic, healthy body weight, and you're eating a piece of dark chocolate every other day, and you function fine, awesome. I can't deny that that's not working for you because clearly it is. I will tell you from my perspective, and for many people who are severe lifetime sugar addicts who are in my coaching groups, I will have, if I have that dark chocolate in my kitchen, in my house, it would be in my freezer because course, frozen chocolate's the best. Um, and that's where I would store it, and it would just cry out to me, and I would have 1 piece, and I said, "I'm gonna have 2. I'm gonna give myself permission." And then I would want to finish it because I don't like the noise that it has now created, because I will put it away, and then I will come over to my computer and start doing work, and then somehow, strangely enough, I find myself getting off my chair again, and somehow I find myself in front of the freezer. And then at that point, when that's like the 3rd or 4th time, I really want to just pull my hair out and say, "Why? Why is this happening, and how do I stop it?" And the only way that I stop it is by understanding. It's like an alcoholic is not gonna have a half a beer, a light beer, a half a one every 4th day. That's what I'm likening it to, for myself, that this is a situation where it's a serious enough, um, problem. We'll call it a problem. It's a battle, that I can't. It's too much noise, and it leads me down the slippery slope, and I have to applaud you, Vadim, though. If all's going well and you can moderate, bravo, because most all of us sugar addicts are not moderators at all. Uh, Let me pull over. Peaceful Wolf Retirement says, "I appreciate your strategy and truthful mind awareness. Keep saying it again and again. Need to hear it straight that way." Yeah, I will never, let's not say sugarcoat anything, because that's a horrible uh, little way of putting it. And I also like to say I don't like to plant a seed, but I am. I don't want. I just trying to say, am I blunt? Yeah. Am I very straightforward? Yes, but it only comes from knowing my own misery for 30 years and suffering what I suffered, and knowing that what I am saying to you all is what had to happen for me, and what understanding I had to have regarding sugar, grains, processed foods, or I wouldn't be at the spot that I'm at. And I'm telling you, I would no way be able to moderate having dark chocolate in my freezer. Because then I'd want to get the one with dark chocolate with almonds the next time I'm buying it. That's what happens. So, um, let's go to the next. Is it okay to put the warm cloth on the eyelid if one has an Ahmed device for high pressure? Yeah, we're not putting scalding water, for sure. And this is just heating up the eyelids and getting the flow of the sebum in the meibomian glands just to flow. Yeah, no, it's totally fine. Let's go to Wolfie says, "Hi, resolved most of my eye problems with vitamin A and animal-based eating. Now I only have problems with dry eye after crying." That's interesting. The tear that comes down from crying is different than the reflex tear that comes down from dryness. So maybe it has to do with just a different salinity, a different pH that's not quite fully, but I don't know, maybe it's normal to have dry eye after you cry. I don't know. And Susie says, "My prescription went backwards on my progressives." Yeah, I've had quite a few people write that their prescriptions have really improved, lessened. And so again, I don't hear that in any other, like, I don't see that as an eye doctor, like somebody who's, let's say, who's my patient. Let's say they're 35 and they come in when they're 36, and then they're 38, and then they come in at 40. I don't start reducing somebody's eyeglass prescription at that point. And I'm hearing about it a lot in the carnivore community. So I Yeah, I'm just still amazed at the healing power of that. So you don't see a link. You know what? I'm going to put the link right in the chat. I put it in the description. I wonder if I forgot to hit save and it just didn't. It'll be in there once I get off, but I did. No, that one didn't. Let me see if I can get it in there. There we go. Okay. There is the link. The link is now in the bottom of the chat, and that will lead you to getting on the list, and then you will definitely get the here. You know what? I should pin it. I think it allows me to pin it. No, why is it not allowing me to pin it? No. Oh well. I tried. It's in the chat. I have had people report again. You all have to remember, I'm not an eye doctor that happens to have lots of carnivore patients coming in to see me for their eye exam. I see patients, but I don't see carnivore patients because there's not a huge amount of us out here. But I have had people reporting to me who are carnivore for other reasons or and have had a halting of the progression. If you have significant cataracts that you've been told you are just about ready for surgery, that kind of extent of a cataract, I'm thinking would take a heck of a long time if it was going to reverse. And you want to have good vision in that amount of time that it would be taking to reverse. So here, maybe I can, so I at least put a star on it. Okay. Um, so yeah, again, our bodies are incredible healing machines. They're here to evolve. So okay, you got the link. Great. Aw. Okay, I got to pull this over because this is a feel good one for me. My kids all just said she's beautiful. Is she carnivore? And yeah, tell them that she's going to be 60 this year. Yikes. That's a scary number. Um, and it's interesting that I'm really trying to think of what I would like to do for my 60th birthday. And it's December 1st. So I thought, wow, maybe I could quick plan it's really hard to plan a cruise in very short notice when you want to have a group. And I was actually cutting it close. This cruise is 7 months away. Is it 7? Yeah, I think 7 months away. And it's difficult. They're scrambling right now to pull balcony cabins and a couple other categories of cabins into the group because I told them, I said, it could be. I said, and they go, how many people? Because, people usually know about how many, family reunion or whatever. I go, I don't know. Could be 50. It could be 250. I don't know. But pull a whole as many cabins as you can into our group, hold them for us. And so what happens is they get held at a certain price and it's locked in until I think October 22nd. And here's another benefit. If between now and the end of July, you book your cabin, the cruise line gives an additional $50 onboard credit per cabin. So yeah, I'll be getting, like I said, hopefully the information will be out. I'm going to say definitely by the end of this week. But I'm just trying to make sure all the cabins get secured into it. Let's see. We have another question here. Been keto 1.5 years, still have ears ringing. Any idea how to heal that? Well, I would I know this isn't really popular for people who love their keto eating, but I would go full carnivore because I have heard of people resolving a lot of very long-standing health issues, and a lot of times it's giving up that last 10% of the veggies or the last bit of sweetener or coffee or whatever it is that you're putting in that your body's saying, ah, this isn't so good. Even nuts, even certain vegetables. There's a, again, our body plopped on earth was meant to eat meat, seafood, eggs, water. You could say there are potentially some plants that are less toxic than others that we would turn to in times of famine but that's what I would do. I would give it your full try. And how badly do you want it? How badly do you want the ringing to stop? And how much are you willing to do? How much of a change are you willing to make to see if that could happen? And we have Ruben saying, come to San Antonio. Yeah, I've only done meetups I've attended a meetup in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and I've had 2 meetups now in Austin when I was out there for the KetoCon Hack Your Health, but I have not actually ever been to San Antonio, and I've heard all about the Riverwalk, so I'll put that one on the list. Let me see what we got here. Thanks. Perfect. I live in Central Florida, so that should be an easy one for you to hike over to Port Canaveral and jump on the ship with us. And we have Christina says that she started 3 weeks ago and her tinnitus have had ringing for 10 plus years, getting super bad. So, and remember too, when you are making a dramatic change in your diet, things are going to have to go through some weird calibrations inside. Your body's got to figure out it's not getting carbs. Plan on 4 to 6 weeks is the standard thought of how long it takes for your body to just start getting adapted. And then you will see just incredible changes when you're 4 to 6 months and then even 4 to 6 years. And so, I mean, I'm fortunate I found this 15 years ago and I stuck with it. I'm so fortunate that I had such a strong why that was making me cry that I didn't ever want to go back, and I was feeling good on it. At the beginning, I had I remember I had a little heart palpitation the first week or two. Um, I didn't really have keto flu, or I didn't really get the um, what they call disaster pants. I didn't have any of that. I just started eating meat and just kept going. And Susie says, I'm 60 and biologically 35 to 40. That's great. I didn't do any of the testing to see what my biological age is. Oh, good. So she says that she's getting close to taking the plunge. And yeah, when I say that to people, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? My own mom's got a tremor. She's like got early signs of Parkinson's, and she's just not catching on to what you need to do to, how to, but trust me, she's been instructed on how to go about this and has all the help in the world, but goes out with the friends and goes on little trips, and she's 84 and she's, I think, just decided that she's going to live with the tremor. And that's my thought process on it. Cause I've said to her, I said, if you want to eat what you want to eat and continue to go down the spiral of disease, then because she's also diabetic, and it's really frustrating. I don't know if any of you out there have a similar scenario with either parents, siblings, partners, children, but that's really been one of the most frustrating parts of this is we only have control over what we put in our own mouths. And, we can want it so badly for somebody else, but unless they want it for themselves, it's just so that's why I went on that long tangent just basically because of, how badly do you want it? And I've had patients who I diagnose diabetic retinopathy, which you can really go blind from for sure. And I show them a photo that I just took of the blood inside their eye. And they ask me, oh, what do I have to do? And I explain this dietary change, and they're like, oh, doc, I can't do that. I'm Italian. It's all about the bread and the pasta. Can't do that. Can't do that carnivore thing. It's like, okay, I'll see you in 6 months and we'll see how much blood is in the back of your eye. Alrighty then. See what my and that's just, me dealing with patients. It's entirely different when it's, your own family and people that you love. Let me keep going here. We're running out of time. Doc, are you in the DFW area? No, I'm in New Jersey. I live on the ocean in New Jersey, and I'm actually excited. This Friday is the second of 5 carnivore beach retreats I'm hosting. I have some awesome people coming in to stay with me right here in my beach retreat condo and live my carnivore life with me and do cooking demos and walks on the beach early in the morning. And they can come to the gym and do my workout with me. And yeah, just fire pit talks in the evening. And just, again, I'm all about joining people together that are on a journey to get healthy. Here we go. Here's another one of these. B Dog says, I have a sister and a brother-in-law, both type 2 diabetic, morbidly obese. They live to check their blood sugar in the mornings and inject insulin so they can eat. Sad. Yeah. But what's even sadder is that they're not told differently by their doctors. They'll, for a period of time, inject the right amount of insulin to pull the glucose out, and their A1C will reduce a bit and their doctor will applaud them. And meanwhile, they are doing so much damage to their bodies by eating carbs and just injecting the insulin to compensate. That is not helping the disease. It's just really kind of keeping you alive until you die from the sad ramifications of the disease. And Christina says, if I can get someone to care for my TBI hubby, I may join the cruise. Oh, that would be so awesome. So TBI, for anybody who doesn't know, that stands for traumatic brain injury. So that's tough because depending on how severe, it ends up being a very difficult thing to deal with. Yeah, here's another one. Meredith says, it's so hard to watch the people I love not listen to this way of life. Yeah, and picture me talking about this for the past 15 years. And my dad passed a year and a half ago, but he deteriorated in health for a very steady, the last 10 years were bad. But picture 15 years ago was when I started talking to them all about changing the way they eat. And nobody wanted to listen to their crazy meat eating daughter, even though I'm a medical professional. I mean, let's face it, you do fly your freak flag with this. Uh, yep, family members are, oh, hi, Marcia. Are definitely the hardest to convince. Even everybody, close friends, anybody that we're in contact with who you see suffering and know that this could really help. It's just so, so, so difficult. But Natalie says, I wish I would have found you 15 years ago. I know so many people will say, and you know what I said 15 years ago when I came to this and was realizing how amazing this whole thing was for me and for so many. And this was just a small group of people back then. But I said, damn, I wish I would have found this. I think I said 20 years ago, because I mean, at the time I was 44 and yeah, I've been a food addict since I got an easy bake oven for my birthday, I think when I was 7. So there's that. All right, thank you so much for joining, and I hope that I will see some of you on the cruise in February, and reach out and ask any questions. I'll put all my information in the description, and I try to answer. I really do. I try to answer all the questions I get. So be patient. Hopefully I'll get to it if you have a question. And if not, I will see you next week live. And I'm not sure whether I don't know what next week's live is going to be, because it's going to be the last night of the beach retreat. So I'll have to see if I can prepare something or if we'll do another Q&A. But thanks for joining.